Hello and welcome to the One Life Church devotional series where we cover the entire Bible in 20 months. Now, we're looking at 2 chapters a day, and the books we're in at the moment are Deuteronomy and Romans. Great to have those 2 books side by side because Deuteronomy is an outlining of the law. We're under the supervision of the law until Jesus came. And the law tells us that God is holy, that we are not, and that we are in need of help, we're in need of pardon, we're in need of rescue. And in this particular chapter, Deuteronomy 19, it's a dealing of law and order. It gives an example. When somebody accidentally kills somebody, it's a tree felling accident that they give here where the axe head comes off and hits somebody. The family, after the guy who killed the family member, is able to run into a city of refuge until a legitimate court case is held. And so the issue of having 2 or 3 witnesses rather than one. God's concerned with justice, because he puts out his law and he says, now live by the law. But obviously what the law does, and what we saw yesterday as we were going through Romans, it shows us that we're in need of help, a lot of help. And so that moves us to Romans chapter 4. Now in Romans 1, remember we were told the gospel is the power to save and the power to present the righteousness of God. In Romans chapter 2, we see that even nice people are in need of the gospel, are in need of rescue. You can't self-righteously judge others and say, I'm not such a bad guy. No, we all need help. And in Romans chapter 3, the essence of the gospel we understood was believing God. Now, Romans 4 uses the example of Abraham. Now, I found this grand old man sitting in the beach cottage that we are using at the moment. I believe these cost thousands of rand. I mean, I can't imagine the time that it took to create this old guy. I often wonder what people like Abraham and Moses must have looked like. I don't think unlike this, actually. And so here he is presiding over this beach cottage. Abraham is wheeled out as an example for us. And it says here in Romans chapter 4, verse 5, Abraham believed God. He believed God, and it was credited to him as righteousness. So God said, Abraham's a good guy. He's acceptable in my presence, not because of stuff he's done, not because he's better than anybody else, but because he believed me. And then it circles down to David in verse 6. David was also like this. Verse 7, he said, blessed are those whose transgressions are forgiven, whose sins are covered. So the example here is given here. David's a really sinful guy. He did some really lousy stuff. And yet he believed that God would forgive him. He trusted God's forgiveness. And God said, okay, I'm forgiving you. That's righteous. If you trust me, that's righteousness. And so then the question is asked, is this just only for, the circumcised, Abraham and David? And verse 16 says, now hang on, Abraham got this promise before he got the ordinance of circumcision. And so this issue of being declared right standing before God, declared holy, about trusting God was before that little operation of righteousness, of circumcision. So verse 16 says, therefore the promise comes by faith so that it may be by grace guaranteed to all Abraham's offspring. So who is that? And he's pointing out here that it's not just those who've had the operation. Not only those who are of the law, the Jews, but also those who have the faith of Abraham. He is the father of us all. I don't know about you, but I can remember at Sunday school singing a song, Father Abraham has many sons as Father Abraham. I am one of them and you are too. Now what did all that mean? What did all that mean? That Father Abraham is like our father in the faith. Well, this verse is what it says. It says that, if we have faith like Abraham had faith, then we too are declared righteous. And it gives the example here when he was like 100 years old and God promised him a kid. He didn't waver. He believed God. And that's why it was credited to him as righteousness. Verse 23 says, the words it was credited to him were written not for him alone, but also for us, to whom God will credit righteousness. And then it explains what we to believe in. We're not believing about kids when we're 100 years old. We're believing in something else. For us who believe in him who raised Jesus from the dead. He was delivered over to death for our sin, raised to life for our justification. When we believe that, God says, like he said over David, like he said over Abraham, that's my righteous one. And you say, well, Grant, what happens if I battle to believe? Well, you can ask God, like the disciples said, help us in our unbelief. You can say, God, give me an understanding of you, that I, like Abraham, can say, God, I believe you. I believe you for my future. I believe you for my salvation. I believe you for my family. I believe you for my forgiveness. That's what God's after. He's after our implicit trust and belief in him and dependence on him. Isn't it great that we're not under the onerous supervision of the law like Moses, Joshua, and those who are in Deuteronomy? But we, like Abraham and David, can say, God, we depend on your goodness and we trust you. God bless you.